Hi friends, the time has arrived for me to film Best Makeup of 2023! And yes, the puff is back for a limited time. I am scheduled for a cut in a week or so I'm not sure she's gonna return, but we're gonna have her here for best of, okay? I thought this would be an appropriate time to lay out the list because I thought if I release it this week, that will allow me to release it at a time that's before the heavy holiday vibes, before they start to hit. And I'm not sure if I wanted to drop this during the Christmas week or the post-Christmas New Year's week. So I thought, let me drop this now, because if I think about it too much, if I dwell on it too much, I tend to overthink it, overanalyze. I'm like, it's not that serious, it's basic, it's makeup. Okay, I have my notes. And I still wanted to mention some honorables, because I'm sure many of you will be wondering within each category, Alicia, what about that product and that product? And yes, this is more so family best of my favorites out of the year. And when I looked at my entire year, when I looked at all my videos, I was grateful for the fact that many of these items were sent as PR. My apologies for the light change. Can you come back please so we can look a little warmer? You know what, fine, I'll just adjust it from my side, okay? And you're probably thinking, well, of course is a favorite, it was sent to you. Not necessarily. I think I lucked out in the brands that I have relationships with. I already love their makeup. And not to say that I have to love everything they release, but listen, that's why I keep my brands edited. That's why I don't accept PR from everybody, because some brands do DM me to ask if I want something, and some things I accept and I just don't, because I don't want all that makeup. I don't have the space, right? So I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate that they reach out to me and ask if I wanted to try their product, and they had also outlined that I didn't have any obligation to share, but I'm sure that's what they expect, right? Because that is the new frontier of advertising for these brands, social media, and relying on influencers like myself to share these products on a YouTube video, on an IG reel, on a YouTube short, TikTok, which I don't have because I like to protect my brain, all right? So with that said, although I present some of these PR products as favorites, it's because they are truly outstanding. It's because I've used them again and again and again. And I was able to and not be flooded with other products that I could really sit with them and appreciate them and not feel overwhelmed from wearing that foundation or that concealer or that eyeshadow palette, because they were piling on and on throughout the entire year. And I think this was the first year that my makeup list in terms of purchases was quite short. And I like that. I want to keep it the same way for 2024 and zero in on products that give me joy. I want to stick with the brands that I know, yes, they might have a miss here and there, but for the most part, they're all hits, okay? They're always nailing it. And with that said, let's start with foundation. And foundation was funny this year because I didn't buy a single new foundation. Since last year, I was mainly using the House Lab Skin Tech, the Hourglass Soft Ambient Glow Soft, something like that. Yes, the Danessa Blurring Balm I used over the summer. And I had contemplated, I did, buying the Laura Mercier foundation, the newer one that released, I think, like last fall, winter. Wait, maybe the new year? I can't recall. But then our friends at Suku were generous to send me the new Suku foundation. And that, for sure, is taking best of foundation for 2023. By default, since this was the only new foundation I had for the year and what I have on now in shade 040, if you want a full breakdown of this product with swatches and comparisons with my other foundations, I'll make sure to link the video under the product, under or in the timestamps, right? So if you want to check out that video, you may. Listen, Suku is a Japanese brand. And listen, I know I gotta get into Addiction Tokyo. They look sensational, and I'm sure their complexion products are out of this world. Give me a minute, I'm getting there. As far as the Suku foundation, they've always released impeccable complexion products from the foundation category. And this one is particularly outstanding because it meshes best of both worlds. Because the previously released foundation that came in the black jar was more of like a satin finish. It had a little, just a tiny bit of glow, not too much. I would argue that the liquid foundation had more glow, and the longevity wasn't great because I think it was just a little too emollient for some people's taste or just some people's skin types. But this year's foundation is a little more soft matte, which I prefer. I do like soft matte because if I wanted a little bit more glow, then I could adjust that finish by applying more of an iridescent or more of like a glowy type of primer, an emollient type of moisturizer, mist my face, right? So when I have the dial in my hand, I can then get to that more dewy natural finish if I choose to. But I like to start soft matte so I got somewhere to go, right? If I'm already starting glowy-owy, then I'm just going to get into slickety dewy, right? Which is, I don't want to get there. I like to stay here. With that said, Suku's foundation, yes, soft matte, we love. But the color match, you know, I don't know how they accomplished this. The different layers of tones and shades in one shade they were able to achieve blows my mind. And yes, it does look better on me now because I don't have as much tan as I did when I first received it. So it was a little off, right? My face didn't quite match the rest of my body. But you know what did? Even though the shade was a little lighter than what my body was at the time, the undertone was still the same. And that's what saved it, right? My skin, or rather my face, still matched my neck at the time. That's incredible. The fact that it's able to still work with the skin tone that I have and just further enhance it. The fact that it gives me coverage without it looking too artificial, too made up, too thick. All right, there are no triple C's on the face when it comes to the Suku Jar foundation. And just applying it, it's like it virtually disappears and it's undetectable when all is blended. It just fuses not only with my skin texture, but with my skin tone, with my shade, and it's incredible. Listen, compared to my other foundations, which I loved because I kept using them. I didn't buy any other new foundations because I was satisfied with those. Something I had mentioned earlier this year is at this point, foundation technology has just been off the charts. And everything that has been coming out just has been incredible because, again, the formulas are not like what they were years ago, right? Everything is now more refined, integrating a lot of skincare ingredients and approaches in terms of how this makeup is made and whatnot. Therefore, a lot of these foundations, despite wanting to deliver coverage and whatnot, they still want to appear natural on the face. That is the main objective, I think, with a lot of these different formulas, whether they're matte, dewy, somewhere in between, natural. They don't want it to look like makeup when applied, right? I think that's what all foundations have achieved thus far. But when it comes down to it, I think people gravitate towards the ones that match their skin tone the most, that just match their preferences the most, right? And the Suku foundation, for me, checks off all the boxes with the coverage, with the skin match, and the overall finish. Listen, best of 2023 and just best foundation, period. Out of all the listen, I get it. I didn't use all these foundations. I'm not that type of channel. I don't buy each and everything that releases, and I don't have a lot of PR that comes my way. I say that, but compared to what other influencers get, I'm still on the low end, which I'm fine with. To me though, just based on my own experience, from being on YouTube as long as I have, the Suku foundation, untouchable. For best concealer, I didn't buy a new concealer. Well, it was new to me because I wanted to update my Pat McGrath concealer, and that was the Taunt Idol from Lancome, right? This isn't a new product that released in 2023, but it was new for me in terms of what I have in my collection. I bought this back in April, and this is in 350. I love it. I've been using it nonstop with, I also think 360 I have that has more of a neutral undertone. This is more peach leaning, which I think appropriate for my under eyes, providing that coverage, but also providing a little bit of brightening to that area. And I've been fine with it. Still have not purchased the Natasha Denona concealer, and I predict that concealer, that product, will receive a best of somewhere, perhaps several, because I've seen nothing but great feedback from Natasha's concealer, and I just still haven't purchased it yet, again because I'm happy with the Lancome. I'm happy with the Lancome. Another thing that was stopping me from purchasing it was the fact that with all the sale opportunities that happened, I had to decide my shade online, and I just didn't want to because I didn't know if I was gonna nail it or not. And I could have went to Sephora, but I've been avoiding going to Sephora because, you know what, kind of like if you don't want to snack on the junk, you don't have it in your house. Well, I don't want to put myself in an environment where I would end up buying things. Now, I should be able to walk into Sephora and walk out with nothing. All right, come on, get it together. I just didn't bother because I was satisfied, and more than satisfied, with the Lancome concealer. It's a fantastic product. It's a staple, I think, in many people's collections, even though it didn't release in 2023. I'm led to believe that many still use it and still rely on it because, again, it's great. Moving into best powder, I don't think I have a best powder, family. I've been using my Shiseido Synchro Skin a lot. And earlier this year, my goodness, I think I was using my Hourglass palette from last year's holiday release from, I say the Tiger palette, but it was really medium 2, or the second palette that I got custom in the Tiger compact. But as of late, I was using the Synchro Skin a lot, and I actually just used this under my eyes. It was rare that I would powder my entire face, even in the summertime, because I just let the natural dew happen, right? Since I didn't want to combat it, I didn't want to overload my skin with product. If I had excess oil and sweat, I just took a tissue and tapped it off, but didn't rely on powder. And I know people do for that polished, buffed effect. I know it plays a role when all products have been applied and you want that more finished look to the skin. If I did take on that step, again, it will be with the Hourglass, 100%. And with the new release this year, the Radiant Light, which is more peachy leaning, I do like that shade for all over my face. It might be a little too warm for under the eyes, and that's not a problem. I'll go into Soft Light from last year's release and tap that under the eyes. But I haven't been, well, I also dip into Mother's Under Eye Blurring Powder. That's a staple as well. Again, not new for 2023. So powders this year have just been visiting old favorites. I didn't pick up anything new. I can't even recall at this moment what new powders stood out for the year 2023 because I'm just really paying attention to that. Moving into... Now, this is the category that gave me problems, all right? Because I have so many favorites in this category. You probably know what it is. Besides eyeshadow, best blush of 2023. Okay, these are the nominees. You ready? Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Flushed. In Jubilee, I got Bellini, but I'm putting in Jubilee for the nominee. The Chanel Eye and Blush Compacts. The Pat McGrath Color Bomb Stick. The Gucci Soft Red, the color that released 2023. The actual Luminous Matte Blush product isn't new, but that shade, all right, nominated. The Hourglass Holiday Release, I have the Owl Compact, but I chose Palette 3. The Suku Pure Color Blush in 145, that released for their Winter 2023 collection. And the Vital Surgeons Kindle and Ignite Blushes. I wonder what it is. I'll also mention... Well, I might as well put this... Well, no, actually, I reneged that. And the winner goes to... Listen, when I put this blush on for the first time, there was no denying the color, the texture, the vibe, everything. This is embodied... Listen, like I had said at the beginning, okay, when I listed all the nominees for Best Blush, They're all my favorites. I've used them throughout the year. Okay, I could quickly go over each. Danessa's Blurring Balm Flush Jubilee, toasted, oasted all over the face. It's more of a cream. It is a cream to powder product, and definitely more so for the summertime because it has that soft matte finish, but it packs a lot of punch, so you have to use the right brush for that intensity. Chanel's Eye Blush or Eye Cheek Palette. Some people had a hard time with it because the textures hardened over time. I didn't have any issues, but I could see where that's happening because it's more like that baked texture, and people had said that it is much different from their singles formula. It's not as soft, but I still dig the colors from those palettes. Pat McGrath's Color Bomb Sticks, definitely more appropriate for the summertime, and I think it best to tap brushes on the product and then tap on the cheeks than to swipe. I believe, in my opinion, only great to swipe if it's on bare skin. If on top of foundation, it might move it because it's creamy, or it's like more balmy, and it could feel sticky, but it's not. But I did enjoy it when it was applied during the summertime. It definitely gave that vibe, that glow. It was more watercolor in consistency, so it was appropriate to layer with and whatnot. Gucci Soft Red, like, that was the summer color for me. Just toasted, sunburnt in a way that we don't want to get sunburnt for real, but the coralness of it, I just dusted that across my face effortlessly, and it evoked that vibe. The Hourglass, listen, this color curation is my favorite thus far for my skin tone. It got a little bit of everything. You can't go wrong with the convenience of having all those products in one compact, all right? And those pink shades, they were more pink coral leaning, which I adored, not only for the summer season, but I did mess with it for the autumn season as well. The Final Surgeons released the most recent one during their Black Friday event when they released Kindle and Ignite. My goodness, those shades, right up my alley. And I still pick the Suku because when it comes to ease of application, when it comes to relying on a shade that's going to give you everything at once, it has the potential to sculpt, it has the potential to flush, it has the potential to do both at the same time. It takes on those roles, which makes it easy for quick one and done blush application that I've argued is probably the main product for anybody. If I needed to pick one product, one vital makeup product for one's collection, is blush. That's the product that's going to give life to the complexion. That's going to just up any complexion, because you could do your brows, but if you're bare on your cheeks, it just looks empty. Looks flat. You could put on the lip gloss. It could give you a little bit of color. There'll be maybe carryover to the rest of the complexion, but it's not going to be the same. Bronzer, you can definitely get away with depending on the shade, but it'll just kind of look like you're tan. But now, over the course of the year, I've gravitated towards more of like that tan sunburnt look. I need a little bit more color than just what the brown is giving. And this color, 145, is exactly what I get, is exactly what I receive. No matter where I place it on my cheeks. Today I applied it lower because I did apply Mother's Divine Bronzer in Bronze Nirvana. Let me double check on that. Divinity, excuse me. Bronze Divinity is the more terracotta leaning color. And that, I think, out of the three that I own, is my favorite, because it's not only is it toasty, but it does have more of that reddish undertone that I think beautifully pairs with Suku's 145. And 145, closer here on the center of my face, it doesn't look too red. It's just the right amount of color, all right? It's giving me flesh, but it's also sophisticated in that it's not too much color. It's just enough to give me dimension on the face to show that I got blush on. But the finish is immaculate. It doesn't look like powder when applied on the cheeks. It melts into my skin. And the blush shade paired with this beautiful rose gold highlighter that I tossed on here on the cheekbones. I could even bring it lower. It is designed to mix together, and if you want a little bit of that shimmer, you definitely can run your brush across both and then toss it on the cheeks. You get a little bit of that glow. Okay, it's phenomenal, this color. And I knew when I applied it for the first time. You see that original video and I applied 145 for the first time, you see my reaction, okay? I might not have arrived at a decision then, but subconsciously I did. Subconsciously I did, despite me acquiring new blushes from after that. 145 takes the cake. I know it's limited edition, okay? It's still the best for me from this year, hands down. Now, let me not beat around the bush, okay? For best eyeshadow palette of 2023. I released a video showcasing all the nominees, and it was fun reading all of your feedback, right? Because man, when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, this was a great year. I think it was a great year for eyeshadow palettes. Now, I am well aware I did not purchase all of them, right? But I like that. So I was able to focus on the ones that really spoke to me. And to quickly go over the nominees, we were looking at Byredo's Remembrance, Isamea's Industrial 2.0, Natasha Denona's I Need a Nude, Xenon and Yucca, and Danessa Myricks Lightwork 5. You know, I purposefully didn't want to apply my favorite on the eyes because that would have given it away once you started the video, but I didn't care. Many of you had mentioned the reasons why already in the comments for my last video, why I picked Isamea's Industrial 2.0 for Best Eyeshadow Palette 2023. It's because this was the palette that unlocked this experimental side of me that I didn't know existed. And sure, I can argue that these textures aren't new, all right? These textures, or more so, the colors aren't new. What I find noteworthy about Industrial 2.0 is how they're formulated. And because of how they're formulated, it allows opportunity to layer these different finishes in a fashion that doesn't look harsh, or some of you had said like party eyes in the respect of a lot going on, right? And that's not to say you can't go there, because many people find that these multi-chrome finishes or whatnot, they toss on the eyes every day. They got no problems wearing those types of shades. With the Isamea formula, it's soft enough where although it's a duochrome, you can still get away with it as something, sure, you could wear every day if you wanted. Well, that's the coppery shade that, my goodness, it applies very coppery flaky here, but if you tap it on the inner corner or all over the lid, it has like this firework flickering effect. It's gorgeous. The shade I wanted to swatch was this one, named Cobalt. It's a duochrome. Now, it might not look overly duochrome to you, but the way this applies, it has a soft feather-like texture that is just virtually effortless to apply on your lids. And it has that red flip. So because of the duochrome, I could apply this shade on its own, and it almost looks like I applied that burgundy shade as a second eyeshadow. But I didn't have to do that because the shadow got both. All right, and then I went in with this pastel blue on the inner arc of my eye. This right here is more powdery, but just look. Ooh, I applied it here on the inner arc of my eye. I went in with the sunlight flickering on the water shade. You can apply on anything. I did on the inner corner, but you could also toss it on the lid. And then I went in with this shade on my lower inner corner. It almost reminds me of Blood Moon. This is definitely more flaky, right? Not one to apply solo. I think this is the shade that you want, like that copper red fire effect, which I'm cool with. I plopped it here on the inner corner, and listen, this palette it was just so fun to use, and it's still so much fun to use. And again, it opened a different side in me in how I see eyeshadow, how I use eyeshadow, and that's why I awarded it Best of 2023, because sometimes it's not about just the formula or the color story or the colors themselves. All those elements play a role in me deciding what something is to me best of. But what Industrial 2.0 did was reveal a new perspective for me. That's why I'm awarding it best of. I could argue that Xenon did for me as well. 100% Xenon definitely revealed a new perspective for eyeshadow in regards to the shades in that palette, to see it as neutral still, despite the inclusion of the grays, the whites, the blacks, the navies. That palette also is phenomenal in that regard. But the reason I went in with Industrial 2.0 is because of the diversity in not only the shades, but the different textures and the different colors. And no matter how you pair them together, it just makes it so easy. And listen, you still have these more these are like the two neutrally shades in the palette that, my goodness, if you just wanted to apply all over, if I just wanted to hop in and get a smoky eye, I whip that on the lid, crease, and lower lash line, and I'm done. And look, if I just wanted to spruce it up, I could apply one of these. Look at that. You see what I mean? And why I needed to give Industrial 2.0 the top spot. The top spot, 100%. I am thrilled that I bought this. I bought this, all right? I am not on Isamaya's PR list, and I am thrilled. I'm thrilled that I bought it, because I held back initially, but my friend Janelle, my fellow eyeshadow palette connoisseur, convinced me. She was like, hey, this is phenomenal. And I'm like, I believe you, friend. I believe you. So when the account was looking good, all right, I went and made the purchase, and I have not looked back since. It's been a phenomenal ride. Industrial 2.0, thank you for doing what you did, being in my collection, and now receiving the honor of Best Eyeshadow Palette of 2023. And I'll also mention in the eyeshadow palette category, Mother's Fetish Eyes, the liquid shadows. Those are fantastic. Those are phenomenal. And I gotta give it up to that formula, because I thought all the shades were fantastic. And I did buy the entire set. I am on Mother's PR list, but I did not receive those shadows. And also Venetian Sunrise, that released with the Divine Bronzer, one of her best quads for sure. I think maybe before the end of the year, I'll do an updated quad ranking video, or maybe just a ranking video, because I believe the last video I did with her quads was just my top 5. So I'll do a ranking for her quads, but the Venetian Sunrise one was a moment. Fantastic. And again, her Fetish Eyes liquid eyeshadows, I love to pair them with my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I had to mention that. And because I'm only presenting the category eyeshadow palettes, that's why I didn't award Fetish Eyes. But if I needed to do like an eyeshadow single category, Fetish Eyes will take it 100%. We still got a few more categories to cover. I'm going to do Best Lip. And sure, I'm not one to wear all the lipsticks, to know of all the lipsticks. I definitely didn't buy all the lipsticks this year, because lipsticks to me, lip products in general, go faster than powder products and whatnot. So that's why I didn't want to pile them on. But there are some noteworthy products that released during the year that I loved, that being the Suku Wrapping Lip Treatment, the Hourglass Satin Cream lipsticks, namely Larch. We love that smoky gray brown. The Lisa Eldridge gloss, I believe Sorcery released this year. The new Gloss Embrace shade and Dancing Rose. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Anything else? I think those were the noteworthy products that I acquired over the course of the year. And as much as I want to spread the love across many brands, as you know, give a little some to everybody, the Suku Wrapping Lip Treatment that released in spring of 2023 whoa, I was not ready. This is a new formula for the brand. When they released it in their spring collection, it serves, as the name implies, as a lip treatment. But the actual feel of the color itself, that cushiony wrapping, again, it's wrapping. It just feels like I'm doing something good for my lip, but giving just the color is sensational. I'm trying to find, I think this is this is 03. Something I like about this product, or rather I love because it's getting best of lip for 2023, is initially the color might appear not jarring, but it might give a lot. But then you just allow it to settle and it has this soft tint. This is in the shade 03. So this is a little more orange leaning, but it is wonderful. Wonderful. I have 3 in all. Let me see here. Where are ya? Where are ya? Number 2 is the caramel brown, which please, I had that in my backpack forevermore. And 03, or excuse me, 04 is the more terracotta. So I think the 02, so my apologies, 03 is like more of like that yellow brown, 02 the more neutral caramel brown, and 04 is more like that rose. Again though, when you let the color settle, it meshes with your own lip color and just enhances it further with that same tint that exists in the shade, and it's spectacular. It goes on smooth, it's silky, does not feel sticky, and even when it wears, it doesn't wear in a way that is uncomfortable, that it's like dry and a little tacky and weird, and it wraps your lips strangely. No, you just apply more and it feels great. Or if it does start to wear, your lips just feel soft. They don't have that strange texture or that strange feel about them. But ooh, my goodness, lipping wrap treatment, sensational. And they did also release a wrapping lip treatment with the gold flecks that I gushed over. I think it was, yes, their winter collection, from where 145 is coming from. And I love that as well because you got the sparklies in there, but these take the cake. These take the cake in terms of, I mean, spectacular new formula that Suku introduced to their brand. But my goodness, I wasn't ready for what it would do to these lips. Sensational. I had to award it best lip of 2023, and a product that I used heavily, yes, in addition to Lisa's Gloss Embrace in Sorcery. Love that shade. And I also have to give a shout out to this product, the Haus Labs, the Le Monster Lip Crayon. This is in Maple Matte. This is an entirely different type of lip product. It's a matte finish, but I love the color. Definitely if I want a matte moment, but I want some, like my peachy brown, rosy brown. This is maple brown, but it's not too warm, not too cool. It's perfectly neutral, but it gives my lip structure and it looks sophisticated. Definitely if I want to go the matte route, for sure. And Larch from Hourglass, it has like that smoky brown look that makes the overall face appear more grungy. Right? I dig that. I definitely have to pair it with a certain type of eye. Sure, if I wanted to go in with this shade from Izumaya and apply Larch, ooh, that's a look. That's a look. I could sign up for that. But generally, however, when I need something a little more soft, okay, a little more soft, but I want my lips to feel good, taken care of, all right? Suku Wrapping Lip Treatment takes the top spot. And we gotta talk about the brushes. Brushes were hard. There were a lot of nominees for brushes. To name a few, all right, I received new Tansedo brushes at the beginning of the year from Fude Beauty, okay? Sonia went off in 2023, all right? The Kiyaki Niji and Kiyaki Buffer, the Sheer Buffer. Both fundamental sets for face and eye. Okay? Koyudo also had releases, their re-release of the Fupa 2, the foundation brush that I have a video of, covered different variations from that category. But man, you know I love Sonia, all right? I filmed top 10 Sonia brushes. I got videos covering all the brushes I mentioned. the Kiyaki release, the Sheer Buffer release, both her face and eye fundamental set releases. They're all there. You just type my name, type her name, you got the videos. I still needed to give this brush top spot because when I used it for the first time, it is so luxurious feeling. It is just the pinnacle for me of blush brushes, which are my favorite, by the way, because although it is marketed to apply your cheek products, blush, bronzer, highlight, you can still use it for rest of face if you wanted, because typically blush brushes are medium sized, right? So you can whip that ish around and get it done. But this brush, when I used it for the first time, the Tuckahoe AQ20 Red Squirrel Cheek Brush. This mother right here, listen, let me lay out the limitations of the brush because I know you're probably thinking them. Alicia, the bristles are far too delicate. You can't use it with a lot of mediums. I get it. You most certainly will only have to use it with powders, yes, creams, no, liquids, no. But I don't care. Listen, with Red Squirrel, all right, the bristle type is incredibly soft, but it has great pickup. It will excel with softer feeling powders, 100%. But what I like about that is those softer powders that if you use a more dense brush with, it might pick up too much product and then appear muddy. Still not possible with the Japanese made brush, but the possibility is still there. I'm just gonna say that. With this brush, you see how it naturally hugs the contours of my cheeks, okay? And the way it floats color on in the most perfect manner where the color naturally, because of how the brush hugs the cheeks, it just envelops the contours of my face and the placement appears natural at the end, right? It doesn't look like, it just kind of like I created this myself. I created this bronzing, this blushing, this highlighting, all on my own. No brush. But yes, there was a brush that did all this work. I used it to apply Pat Bronze Nirvana. I used it to apply Suku's 145. And honorable mention was the Tuckahoe, I believe this is the YSS14. This little guy, this is Gray Squirrel, but the slant and brush size, look at this for highlight. Ooh, this makes a mean highlight brush, man. Because not only is it small enough to get it right here on the cheekbones, but the whipping. You gotta whip your highlighter on so it looks smooth, all right? Sometimes if you just tap it and the formula is high pearl, it might not look as fused and blended, all right, blurred. But listen, if you just wanted to blur it, if you just wanted to take that finishing all over, you can. Ooh, the Tuckahoe brushes are goated, my goodness. I know they might not be aesthetically as beautiful as Sonia's with the walnut wood that's found in her fundamental sets, but the AQ20, this guy, this phenomenal brush, phenomenal tool. And there is a face version, I believe, but I like the cheek version because, as I said at the beginning, you could take this all over the face if you wanted. If I go back to the YSS14, most certainly I could use this to, look at this, perfect for under eye, perfect. I could even take the edges of the brush, a little color here down the sides of my nose. Kind of like what happened when I applied Suku's 145 for the first time. When I used the AQ20 for the first time, it had reached legendary status in one go. The fact that I immediately recognized this brush's potential and this brush's ability to have all of my cheek products appear flawless on my face. Are you kidding me? The fact that it's this soft but still picks up color well and it still blends it like it does? Stop it. Stop it. Listen, Tuckahoe makes some phenomenal brushes and AQ20 is sensational. I had to give it the #1 spot because it's just goated. And we've arrived at the final category. You know we gotta talk about nail polish. Believe it or not, I didn't punch in the numbers yet, but I will. I gotta get into that before the year's end. I predict and I think I'm correct, I definitely spent more money on nail polish than I did on makeup this year. And funny, the majority of my nail polish purchases happened towards the end of the year because, when it comes to the autumn winter shades, sign me up. So let's go over a few that released this year. Hollow Tacos Barista Bundle. That was fantastic. It was all linear hollow, but different shades of like coffee and the different, like the oat milk and the espresso and macchiato, shum. That was great. The Cleona Slickadelic nail polish. Those went off. Okay, Cleona is an indie brand mostly known for their crazy multi-chrome iridescent glitter, whatever. They got so many categories for their eyeshadows, but they also released nail polish, and those were crazy because the magnetic shift was an entirely different color. All right, so there's a lot going on in that collection. The Hollow Taco Down to Earth bundle, I snapped up. The Mooncat Midnight Rodeo collection, it also snapped up. The ILNP Cosmic collection. And I also purchased during their Black Friday event their Harvest collection and their Nightlife collection. I had to get them. They were weighing on my mind. And then lastly, Mooncat was vicious to me this year. Okay, Michelle, I'm talking to you. Michelle left no stone unturned, all right? Her brain was on one when creating these different finishes and shades, and she rounded out the year with Inner Apocalypse. Bruh, that collection, I saw the entire thing and I was like, help me. And then when the team was releasing sneak peeks and different swatches of I texted my fellow nail polish connoisseur and I told her I was done. I need this. Okay, bought that too, despite how many wonderfully curated nail polish collections released this year. All right, and I know they were very heavy by the end of the year. I don't tend to get crazy for the spring and summer collections because I don't vibe with those shades as much. I had to give best nail polish collection of 2023 to Mooncat's Midnight Rodeo. Okay, this coincides with the same reasons I outlined for why I adore Mother's Midnight Sun. The earthier tones, but those specks of colors, the fact that the inspiration was just so clear cut to me, and I recognized that in the eyeshadow palette. When Mooncat released Midnight Rodeo, first of all, 10 nail polishes, all right? We got 10 shades on all the fingers. What I love the fact more so is look at these different colors and textures. Okay, you got Fool's Gold, When the Devil Strikes, this is a matte finish, black jelly with the gold flakes. You have Midnight Rider, this beautiful midnight blue that shifts between midnight blue and violet. You got Outlaw Country, this like blackened steel chrome, prickly pear, another matte finish polish, and you have what I think is Whiskey Sunrise. This might be Whiskey Sunrise. It's a multi-chrome nail polish with like a red, yellow, and green type of thing. Then you have Moonrise. We're going into the lighter pastel-y shades with like that blue flick. It's hard to see on camera. Dark Horse. Are you kidding me? Sign me up. Bootlegger, which is more like copper leaning. I think it has that same duochrome effect as Dark Horse. Sand Viper. Sand Viper was one of the shades when I saw for the first time. I was like, please. And then Fool's Gold is a clear gold flaky topper. My apologies, too close. With a matte finish. So you can apply these on any of these polishes and have that same matte finish. That's what really got me. The diversity of different shades, reflective finishes, changes, whatever exists in Midnight Rodeo. And I showed this reel on the original Favs video where I presented Midnight Rodeo to be my favorite nail polish for that month, where Michelle was talking about how she was taking a risk releasing this collection because earthy tones don't do well. I'm like, they don't know, all right? they don't know. How can you not love earthy tones? And the fact that Midnight Rodeo beautifully coincides with like Western landscape, okay? Giving you, yes, the moonrise, the sunset, the sand, the cactus, it's everything, cacti, everything, all right? How the sky looks when it's dark, but it still has like that blue tint. Wherever you are on the globe, you know how that goes, all right? When there are no distractions from urban light, all right? And it is night, and all you see is the stars, okay? And to have the gold fleck, I love this color because, okay, when it comes to matte finishes, I think it better to see the flakies, because when it's matte, you could better see the color of the flakes. In this case is gold. I would argue the same thing. And what I did with the Fall to Earth bundle from Hollow Taco, their Fallen and Flaky top coat, it had magenta and gold and green and all types of shades. I would toss on a matte top coat so you could better see the color shifts. And it appears more glowy and burnished rather than shiny. And I like the shiny effect too with flaky top coats, 100%, but I prefer a matte finish because I overall like the effect. I like how it's matte and you could better see the shades, and they still shine but not in the same way. And if you wanted that, you could just use the Fool's Gold top coat on a bare nail like I have here on your entire hand, and I think that would be so sophisticated. You got a little, it's like your nails look more decorative because of the matte finish, but you still have that gold, but it's not like super shiny. And if you wanted to make any of these shinier finishes matte, you could toss on Fool's Gold to get that gold effect from the flakies, but then have the matte finish at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Midnight Rodeo is genius. It is genius. I just can't get over just, again, how eclectic it is, but how spot on it is at the same time to the inspiration. I adore it. And listen, I love these nail collections I mentioned, okay? Again, best of favorites. Barista bundle, you can't go wrong with Barista bundle. Cleona was fun. It was fun. I think for me to have all those magnetics just go off, I definitely have to be in a type of mood, because sometimes I just want to be in this mood. You know what I mean? Just simple, all right? That I don't need the crazy magnetics as much as I love them. But Cleona, I had to be in a certain headspace for, I still wanted to give them a shout out because, man, again, those magnetics went off. And with the Down to Earth bundle, mostly creams, you can't go wrong with those shades. ILNP's their cosmic collection was crazy. It was crazy. And I gotta give it to them too. They did their thing with grabbing that Cosmos inspo, all right, and laying out the different types of galactic possibilities when it comes to nail polish. Please. But man, there's just something about Midnight Rodeo that spoke to me off the gate, and I needed to be a part of it immediately. So that's why I had to give Midnight Rodeo Best Nail Polish of 2023. Without a doubt. Despite my other favorites that I mentioned, okay, Inner Apocalypse, I was only able to use 2 colors so far out of the 8, but best, listen, I just painted these nails for the video. You know I'm going to get into Inner Apocalypse because I got. With all that said, family, those are my favorites of the year, from the year. And I would love to know what you think down below. This was fun to go over what I purchased, what I received from PR, and diving into the reasons why I would award this best stuff. And in the end, I think the lesson that emerged from this is less is more. I want to continue that theme going into 2024. I want to keep better track of what I buy and what I receive in PR, and again, limit the amount to truly just get acquainted with these products. Use them more often. Use them more than one time with other products, with older favorites, and get into the nitty gritty, right? Develop more reasons why something is just pretty or I like the texture. I want to go beyond that for next year when presenting favorite products and whatnot. And the only way for me to do that is to just focus on one product at a time for a longer length of time than what social media allows us to do, because the algorithm encourages new this, new that, and I don't want to contribute to that, okay? Because how can I contribute to that if I don't even want that for myself? I don't want to keep buying new products. And not to say that I won't buy new products altogether. I definitely want to put a limit on it, and also holding back. If something new arrives, I'll think on it. I won't buy it right away. And if it sells out, oh well. Oh well. That's happened to me with some Suku releases that I was like salivating over. It sold out and I was like, fine. Did it hurt me inside a little bit? 100%. But at the end, I survived. I was like, oh my God. And then I forgot about it. I forgot about it because there are more important things in my life, right, than groveling over makeup that I was not able to get. So I hope, family, that my videos over the year helped you as well. Enjoy new products, but also enjoy the products that you already have. Enjoy the new products that you purchase even more. And I would love to know what your favorites were down below. And also, Best of Lifestyle is coming. That is a video that I'm looking forward to filming. Maybe that will release during the Christmas week. I'm not entirely sure. But stay tuned for that. That'll probably be my last best of video for the rest of the year. And then between that, who knows? And then maybe I'll get to working on my ranking Pat McGrath quad video. With all that said, family, I will see you down in the comments. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, best of lifestyle videos coming at you, or another ranking. I'll get to working on that as well. Take care, and I will see you again soon.